My family always called me the accident kid and didn't invite me to the Christmas trip, then begged for help when it turned into a freezing nightmare. I ignored the calls, cut them off, and finally moved on with my life. Hey, Reddit. So, my entire family planned a fancy Christmas cabin trip for 6 months, invited each other, posted about it nonstop, and never mentioned it to me once. Then, they acted shocked when I didn't drop everything to help them after the whole thing turned into a frozen nightmare. Let me show you how it started. Name's Eunice. I'm 29, female, work in IT, manage a team of 15, pay my bills on time, and own a condo that doesn't smell like socks. Not bad for someone my family calls the bonus baby. That's the nice version. Other times, it's the accident, the afterthought, or my personal favorite, the surprise package. I've heard it my whole life. My siblings think it's hilarious. I guess when you're born 15 years after the first kid, people assume you were either planned for tax purposes or a result of someone forgetting to lock the door on New Year's Eve. According to my dad, it was the second one. He told me that at Christmas dinner when I was 12. Nobody thought that was weird except me. The family roster goes like this. Martin, Dad, talks about family values, but really means what the neighbors think. Spends every holiday bragging about his lawn or Blake's job like it's breaking news. Elaine, Mom, professional at acting sweet while slipping in insults. If passive-aggressive was a sport, she'd have trophies. Blake, 44, oldest brother, works in finance, drives a BMW, speaks in LinkedIn quotes. Martin calls him the example. Serena, 42, influencer mom, family photo shoots every season, calls her kids my little blessings online, yells at them off camera. Daphne, 39, the free spirit, always on some juice cleanse or crystal therapy kick, loves giving advice nobody asked for. Then there's me, youngest by a mile. Growing up, they treated me less like the baby of the family and more like the neighbor's kid who kept wandering into the house. When I was 9, I joined the school choir. We had this big winter concert. I told everyone at home. Blake said he had a study group. Serena claimed she was busy with plans, which I later found out was a sleepover. Daphne said she'd try, but didn't. Mom and Dad said they couldn't make it because there was some neighborhood party. That night, I sang in front of 300 parents. Mine weren't there. Next month, I watched the whole family go to Serena's dance recital like it was the Oscars. They brought flowers for her. I got a, "Sorry we missed it, buddy." And it wasn't just that one time. When Blake graduated college, Dad rented a whole banquet hall. Toasts, banners, a slideshow on a projector, the works. When I graduated, dinner at Applebee's with half the family missing because they had plans. I stopped inviting them to things after that. Why bother? By the time I was in high school, I spent most of my time messing with this old desktop Dad's office was throwing out. Things sounded like a jet engine when it turned on. I fixed it piece by piece, learned coding from free forums, taught myself networks, security, all that. Nobody noticed until Serena needed her laptop cleaned from viruses because she clicked some scam link. I graduated, went straight into IT, worked night shifts while my siblings were posting vacation photos. Spent 10 years grinding until I was running the department. Good salary, my own place, health insurance that actually covers stuff. Dad brags about Blake's BMW like it's family property, but hasn't once asked how I managed to buy my condo before 30. Whatever. I stopped caring about recognition years ago. The one thing I still showed up for, Christmas Eve. That was the tradition. Everyone came to Mom and Dad's place. Ugly sweaters, bad eggnog, forced smiles. I usually had to work the day shift, so I came late. But at least it was something. For a few hours, I wasn't the forgotten kid. My nieces, Serena's kids, Mia and Leia, they loved when I came. Probably because I actually talked to them instead of handing them iPads like babysitters. Last year, I got them a Lego set bigger than Serena's dining table. Spent the night helping them build it while the adults argued about politics in the kitchen. Best part of the whole evening. Dad once told me, "Family's everything, daughter." Yeah, could have fooled me. What I learned instead was this. Family shows up when they want something. Tech help, money advice, babysitting. But when I had that promotion at work, When I bought my first car, when I hit 5 years at the company, silence. I never said anything. Figured if they didn't notice on their own, forcing it wouldn't help. Plus, sarcasm works better than begging. Like 2 summers ago, Daphne asked why I never bring anyone to family barbecues. I said, didn't know auditions were open for the supporting cast. She blinked like I spoke another language. So yeah, I kept my distance. Work, a few good friends, my own routine. Show up for Christmas, smile for the nieces, go home. That was the deal. At least it used to be, because this year, that deal got thrown straight out the window. And it started with one stupid Saturday in December when I stopped by Dad and Mom's place to drop off a package. Mia and Leia ran up asking if I was excited for the cabin trip. What cabin trip? I asked. That's when everything changed. Mia and Leia were both talking at the same time, words tripping over each other like they were in a race. Something about bunk beds, snowball fights, a cabin with a hot tub. I was standing in the hallway holding this Amazon box for Mom like an idiot. What cabin? I asked again. Mia blinked at me like I was joking. The Christmas cabin. Everyone's going. Grandma said it was going to be better than last year since we only stayed one night. Then I turned to Mom, who was in the kitchen pulling cookies out of the oven like she was auditioning for a commercial. Is there a reason I'm hearing about this from a 7-year-old? She froze for half a second before plastering on that tight smile she always uses. Oh, that. Well, we all talked about it back in June. Serena found this place in Vermont. Really cozy, perfect for the whole family. We figured you'd be working again. She shrugged, like that explained everything. I just stared at her. So, nobody thought maybe I'd want to know. You work a lot, Eunice, she said, sliding cookies onto a plate. We didn't want you to feel pressured. Right, I said. Wouldn't want to pressure me by telling me. Mia looked between us, confused. You're coming, right, Aunt Eunice? I didn't answer. I put the box on the counter and left before Mom could start another sentence. Driving home, my phone buzzed. The family group chat was a full-blown Christmas ad campaign. Blake posting cabin photos like he was selling timeshares. Serena showing off matching pajamas for the cabin vibe. Blake sending a selfie in a Santa hat, holding a mug like he was in a holiday coffee commercial, and Daphne tossing in 20 snowflake emojis for good measure. I typed one word, adorable, then put my phone down. Not a single text asking if I was coming. I scrolled back through months of messages, birthday plans, barbecues, random brunches, same pattern every time. I wasn't in the conversation until someone needed me for something. Like 3 weeks ago, Serena called me on a Sunday because Mia downloaded some game full of ads on her tablet and it was acting weird. I drove over, fixed it in 5 minutes, left before dinner because they didn't even offer. It's always like that. When I got home that night, I told James about the cabin over text. We'd only been dating a few weeks, so I kept it simple. Found out my family planned Christmas without me. Booked a cabin. Whole thing's been set since June. They didn't invite you? Apparently I work too much to be told things. Wow, I'm sorry, Eunice. He called me after that. James the kind of person who actually listens when you talk. He didn't jump in with advice or bash my family. Just let me explain. I told him this wasn't new. Growing up, it was always the same story. I wasn't shocked about the cabin, just tired. James let me talk until I ran out of things to say. Then he said, "You can come with my family." I didn't answer right away. He added, "I mean it. My parents would love to have you. We eat too much. My brother will ask you a million questions about computers. My mom will send you home with leftovers for a week. It's chaos, but the good kind." I laughed. But there was this lump in my throat I didn't expect. "You sure? We've been dating, what, a month?" "Yeah," he said. "And they'll like you. They actually like people." That last part stuck with me. The next day at work, Blake called, not to invite me. No, he wanted help setting up Wi-Fi in the cabin ahead of time. "Eunice, you're good with this stuff," he said like it was my job. "Can you come by this weekend? We need it working before everyone gets there." I said, "I'm not going to the cabin, Blake." Pause. "Wait, what? Why?" "Because nobody invited me." He laughed like I was kidding. "You work all the time." "We didn't think you'd want to come." "You didn't ask," I said. Well, it's kind of late now. All the beds are taken. The place is full on beds, right? I said, but not too full for my tech help. Silence. Then, so, is that a no? I hung up. That night, I told James I'd come with his family. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like maybe Christmas wouldn't be another reminder of where I stood with mine. Rewind to late November, Thanksgiving, because it sets the tone for everything that came after. Mom texted the group chat, dinner at ours, 3:00 p.m. sharp, dress nice, family photo after. She added 3 smiley faces like we were the picture of togetherness. Thanksgiving at my parents' house always looks good on Instagram. Matching plates, perfect table settings, Blake carving the turkey while Mom beams like we're in a magazine spread. It's a performance, not a holiday. I got there at 2:50, walked in, said, "Hey," handed Mom the pie I brought. She took it like she was holding a grocery receipt. "Oh, thanks, Eunice. We already have 2 pies, but I guess one more doesn't hurt." She set it down next to Serena's dessert, a custom pumpkin cheesecake from some expensive bakery. Mom made sure to tell everyone the price. "Eunice, take a picture of us," Serena yelled from the living room, already posing with her kids like she was at a photo shoot. No hello, no hug, just instructions. That's how it always starts. I'm the photographer, the errand girl, "Oh, good, you made it. Now hold this ladder while Blake hangs lights." Dinner was loud. Blake telling some story about work that sounded like he stole it from a TED Talk. Serena showing everyone her fall family photo session on her phone. I sat at the corner of the table eating stuffing, nodding at the right moments. Then Blake started. "So, Eunice," he said between bites, "you still doing computer stuff?" I swallowed. "Yeah, I manage the IT department now." Blake smirked. "Nice. Nice. Not everyone can be CEO material, right?" Serena laughed like he was hilarious. Daphne added, "Hey, it's honest work like plumbing, but for laptops." Mom sipped her wine. "We're just glad you're keeping busy, dear." That's the thing about them. Every compliment's got a knife in it. Halfway through dessert, Blake leaned back in his chair. "Remember when Dad called Eunice the bonus baby? Man, that stuck." "Oh yeah," Serena said. "I tell people I have 2 sisters, a brother, and Eunice." She laughed like it was the best joke she'd ever made. Daphne grinned. "Hey, she wasn't planned, but at least she's here." I put my fork down. "You done?" The table went quiet for a second. Blake smirked. "Relax, we're just joking." "Right," I said. "Like when I graduated and got dinner at Applebee's while Blake got a banquet hall. Just jokes, right?" Mom frowned. "No need to bring that up." Or when Serena got a whole recital audience and I sang in a gym with nobody there. Hilarious stuff. Blake shifted in his seat. "We didn't mean anything by it." "Yeah, I'm sure you didn't," I said. "You never do." The silence this time was heavier. Serena cleared her throat, changed the subject to some new coffee maker she bought. Conversation limped along after that. After dinner, Mom handed me a stack of plates. Not Blake, not Serena, me. "Eunice, be a dear and help clean up," she said like I was a busgirl. Blake was in the living room watching football. Serena was editing photos for her Instagram post. Daphne was telling Dad about some new crystal shop. I washed the dishes anyway, not because she asked, because Mia and Leia were helping, and they didn't deserve the tension hanging in the air. On my way out, Dad stopped me. "You know, they're just joking, right?" I looked at him. "No, they're not." He didn't have an answer for that. Driving home, my phone lit up. Group chat again. Serena posted a family selfie with the caption, "Thankful for my crazy, amazing family." I wasn't in the picture. The next day, James asked how Thanksgiving went. I told him about the jokes. James listened, shaking his head. "They really don't hear themselves, do they?" "Nope," I said, "and I'm done waiting for them too." Because right then, I decided something. I wasn't letting Christmas be a repeat performance. Not this year. Dad finally left me a voicemail. "Daughter, everyone's leaving on the 23rd. You can still come if you want." Not an apology, not a real invite, just a casual afterthought, like I was a neighbor they felt bad for. I deleted the message. James' mom texted him that same night. "Tell Eunice she's welcome Christmas Day. We'll have plenty of food." First time anyone's ever invited me without needing something first. And I knew exactly where I was spending Christmas. Not in Vermont, not in some overpriced cabin with people who treated me like a background character. This year was going to be different. But before we get there was the part where they finally realized I wasn't just going to shrug and take it anymore. Then Mom called. "Eunice, dear," she started in that voice she uses right before asking a favor. "Are you sure you can't make it to the cabin? Everyone will be there." "Yeah," I said. "Everyone who got invited." She paused. "Well, we figured you had to work. You always do." I smiled even though she couldn't see it. And asking me directly, that was too complicated. "That's not what I meant," she said quickly. "It's just one Christmas." "One that's been planned for half a year," I said. Glad someone remembered me before the matching pajamas got packed. She huffed into the phone. "You don't have to be sarcastic." "I wasn't sarcastic," I said. "That was the polite version." She didn't know what to say after that. The next day, Blake called. "Listen, sis," he said. "We need the Wi-Fi working before we get there. Can you drive up on the 22nd, set it up, then head home?" I laughed. "That's funny. I didn't realize the unpaid intern spot was still open." He went quiet for a second. "It's not like that. We just thought you were busy." "Yeah," I said. "Busy enough to not invite, but not too busy to climb ladders in the snow for you. Interesting math." He tried to joke it off. "Come on, don't be like that." "Relax," I said. "I'm not upset, just not available." Click. Conversation over. By midweek, Mom tried again. "There's still room if you want to come," she said on speaker, while Dad sat in the background. "On the pull-out couch?" I asked. She hesitated. "Well, yes, but—" "Oh, perfect," I said. Nothing says family love like the couch bed next to the drafty window. Dad cleared his throat. "Daughter, don't make this bigger than it is." "Don't worry," I said. "You already did that for me. Back in June." That ended the call pretty quick. Meanwhile, James' family kept texting me like normal human beings. His mom texted me directly. "Eunice, we eat Christmas dinner at 2 p.m. Wear whatever you want. Do you like ham or turkey?" She told me not to worry about bringing anything unless I wanted to. Basic stuff, respectful stuff. Stuff my own family apparently never learned. Thursday, James and I went shopping for gifts. Real gifts, not the gas station gift cards my siblings always grabbed last minute. I got his dad a grill set because James said he practically lived outside cooking. Got his mom a nice candle warmer she'd mentioned wanting. Picked up sketchbooks for his little brother, Evan, who loved to draw. James laughed when I grabbed the biggest bag of dog treats on the shelf for their mutt Nacho. "You're trying to bribe the dog now?" "Look," I said, "if I can win over the one family member who bites people, I'm golden." Quick pause, fellas. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way. Thanks so much for your support. All right, back to the drama. That evening, we swung by his parents' place to drop everything off. His dad shook my hand like he meant it. His mom hugged me before I even introduced myself. Evan asked if I could help him draw a spaceship. Nacho acted like we'd been best friends for years. I liked it. It was real. And Christmas hadn't even started yet. Christmas morning at James' parents' place felt like stepping into a completely different world. I woke up on their couch voluntarily, by the way, not because I was the extra like at my parents', to the sound of Evan arguing with his dad about whether waffles or pancakes were better. His mom was already in the kitchen yelling, "Coffee first, debate later," over the sound of some Christmas playlist blasting from a Bluetooth speaker. The house smelled like cinnamon and bacon, not scented candles and tension. When I walked in, James' dad handed me a mug before I even sat down. "James tells us you work with computers. Maybe later you can help Evan here fix his Minecraft thing. Kid's been mad at his laptop for a week." Evan groaned. "Dad, don't make it sound lame." I laughed. "Hey, I can handle Minecraft, but you gotta teach me the spaceship drawing thing in return." Evan's eyes lit up like I just handed him the keys to a car. Deal made. Breakfast was messy. Waffles, pancakes, bacon, eggs, the works. People passing plates, talking over each other, laughing at dumb jokes. His mom burned the first batch of toast, yelled at the toaster like it was personal, then handed it to his dad anyway. He ate it while saying, gourmet. And everyone cracked up. Nobody was pretending to be perfect. Nobody was competing for attention. It was just people being people. And I didn't realize how much I'd missed that until I was sitting there. After breakfast, his mom brought out stockings with names on them, even one for me. I held it up. I think you mixed this up. Nope, she said. We made that last night. It had socks, snacks, and a gift card to the coffee shop James told me I liked. Nothing fancy, but it was thoughtful. At my parents' place, stockings were for show. Serena always got the biggest ones stuffed with expensive perfume or jewelry from Santa, even when we were adults. Mine usually had a toothbrush and some gas station candy because we didn't know what you needed. This was different. We opened gifts in the living room, everyone on the floor in pajamas. His dad got a new drill. His mom got a cookbook she actually asked for. Evan ripped open a giant Lego set and immediately started sorting pieces on the carpet. I gave James' parents the gifts I bought, the grill set and the candle warmer, and they acted like I'd handed them gold bars. Eunice, you didn't have to get us anything, his mom said, hugging me like I cured a disease. Meanwhile, at my parents' house, gifts were more like currency. Blake always bought the most expensive thing, just so everyone knew he spent the most. Serena once gave me a book on finding direction the year I got promoted at work. Subtle, right? Here, nobody kept score. After gifts, James' dad pulled out board games. Actual board games, not the let's stare at our phones in the same room thing my family called bonding. We played Pictionary first. Evan teamed up with me. We lost badly because my dog drawing looked like a diseased horse, but everyone laughed until they cried. Not at me, but with me. James' mom yelled at his dad for using words instead of pictures. He said, "That's modern art," and she threw a pillow at him. It was chaos. Fun chaos. The kind that didn't leave you exhausted after. At one point, my phone buzzed. Group chat from my family. Blake. Power's out at the cabin. Place is freezing. Serena. Mia's crying. She wanted to swim in the hot tub. Mom. Eunice, do you know who to call for this? Power's out. Generator won't start. Roads are iced over. Everything's a mess. I showed James. He smirked. Oh no, tragic. I typed, I'm busy. Try the Wi-Fi guy. Then put my phone face down and went back to the game. Dinner was at 2. Big table, ham and turkey, way too much food. Jamie's mom made 3 different kinds of potatoes because, in her words, people have opinions. His dad said grace, simple and short. Nothing like the 10-minute speeches my dad gave about family unity while ignoring half the people at the table all year. Everyone passed plates, argued about cranberry sauce, told embarrassing stories. At one point, James' mom leaned over and asked if I wanted more gravy. After dinner, Evan dragged me to the Lego project in the living room. James' dad helped, while his mom handed out pie. Evan kept handing me pieces, giving me instructions like he was the foreman and I was free labor, but in a funny way. I realized then nobody here saw me as background noise, and maybe that's what hit the hardest. Not the food, not the games, just being treated like I belonged without having to earn it first. Around 8, my phone buzzed again. Serena. This cabin trip is a disaster. Blake. Power's out, generator's dead, and the roads are shut. Dad fell on the deck. This is a nightmare. Mom. We should have stayed home. I didn't reply. James' dad was telling some story about his first car. His mom was laughing so hard she snorted. Evan was showing off the Lego spaceship we finished. And I sat there thinking, yeah, you really should have stayed home. Because as the night rolled on at James' parents' place, warm house, good food, actual laughter, my phone kept lighting up with updates from the family cabin trip, like it was a disaster movie playing out in real time. Blake. We've been calling the power company for hours. No ETA. Serena. Mia says she can see her breath inside the cabin. Mom. Eunice, do you know anything about generators? Yeah, I know not to go to a frozen cabin with people who forget I exist for 6 months, I thought. I put the phone on silent and went back to James' dad telling a story about the time he accidentally set his grill on fire trying to cook ribs in college. Around 9, the calls started. First Mom, twice, straight to voicemail. Then Serena. Then Mom again. James saw my screen light up and raised an eyebrow. You going to answer that? I shook my head. Nah, feels like a tomorrow problem. He grinned. Savage. Look, I said, they remembered me for the first time all year because their vacation turned into a snow globe horror show. Forgive me if I'm not rushing to play hero. James' dad overheard and chuckled. Sounds like karma's got better timing than the power company. 10 minutes later, Blake called. I let it ring, but he left a voicemail I couldn't resist listening to. Eunice, sis, we need help. Roads are shut down. Power's out. Pipes might freeze. If you know anybody in Vermont. I stopped listening after that. The mental image of Blake stomping around in his expensive boots, yelling about frozen pipes, was enough entertainment for the night. Meanwhile, James' family was playing charades in the living room. His mom was terrible at it. She tried to act out The Lion King and somehow made it look like a nature documentary about worms. His dad laughed so hard he cried. When it was my turn, I got Die Hard and Evan yelled, "Home Alone!" After my first 2 clues, I told him close enough and gave him the point. It was stupid, simple fun. No competition, no judgment, nobody trying to make me the punchline. That's when my phone buzzed again. Mom. Eunice, please call me. It's serious. I stepped into the hallway and answered this time. Mom didn't even say hello. Your father slipped on the deck steps. He's fine, but the ambulance couldn't get through because of the ice. I paused. Wow, sounds like a rough trip. We need someone to call the cabin company, the power company, somebody, she said, panicked. Me? I asked. The girl you didn't invite? She hesitated. Eunice, this isn't the time. No, I said calm. This is exactly the time, because you only remember I exist when things fall apart. You want me to fix your mess while I'm 200 miles away. Call Blake's CEO friends or Serena's influencer followers. Maybe they can get you a generator through brand sponsorship. Eunice, she snapped, this isn't funny. Neither was always being the last to know, I said, and hung up before she could reply. Back in the living room, James handed me a slice of pie like nothing happened. Everything okay? He asked. Yeah, I said, just the usual. Evan looked up from the Lego spaceship. Was that your family? Yep. Are they always calling you? Only when things are broken, I said. He thought about that, then said, that sucks, and went back to building. Smart kid. By morning, the family group chat was pure chaos. Serena. Pipes burst in the downstairs bathroom, water everywhere. Blake. We're leaving as soon as the plows come through. Mom. Worst Christmas ever. Meanwhile, I was eating pancakes James' dad made while Nacho the dog begged for scraps under the table. Mom called again. I answered this time because James convinced me to at least be civil. She started right in. We had to sleep in our coats last night. Your father's arm is bruised. The kids are crying, and this whole trip is ruined. That's tough, I said. You don't sound very concerned. Why would I be? I asked. I wasn't there, wasn't even told about it until the cabin had a hashtag. You could have been, she snapped. Right, I said. On the pull-out couch. If someone remembered to tell me before December. Silence. Finally, she said, this attitude of yours isn't helping. Neither is pretending I'm family only when you need tech support, I said. Call the rental company. Call the power company. I'm not the emergency hotline just because you can't plan a holiday without turning it into a reality show. Then I told her I had to go because James' mom was handing out cinnamon rolls, and honestly, that was more important. Later that afternoon, while my family was packing up early to drive home in a snowstorm, James' family was outside building the most lopsided snowman I'd ever seen. Evan named it Gerald. James' dad tried to give it sunglasses. James' mom brought out hot chocolate that was mostly whipped cream. I just stood there watching them argue about whether Gerald needed arms or a scarf first, and realized I hadn't thought about work or family drama for a full 24 hours. Couldn't remember the last time that happened. By the time the sun went down, my family's texts stopped coming. No updates, no calls, nothing. James' mom asked if I could come back for Easter dinner. His dad said next time I had to try his famous ribs. Evan asked if I could help him build a Lego castle next. I said yes to all of it, because this felt like what family was supposed to be. So, when my own family finally started calling again after the great cabin disaster of Vermont, I figured it was time to end this once and for all. 2 days after Christmas, Mom left me another voicemail. We need to talk about what happened. Call me. Right, like I caused the power outage, frozen pipes, and Dad falling on the deck. But fine, I was done dodging. I drove over that evening, walked in to find everyone sitting in the living room like it was some kind of intervention. Mom, Dad, Blake, Serena, Daphne, all in one place. Mom started first. Eunice, we feel like there's been some distance lately. I laughed. Yeah, about 200 miles worth. Vermont ring a bell? Blake rolled his eyes. You could have come if you wanted to. Nobody was stopping you. Right, I said. Serena jumped in. You didn't have to be so cold about it. We didn't mean to leave you out. Yeah, I said. Like you didn't mean to skip my choir concerts, or my graduation, or the last 10 years of my life. Just accidents, right? Nobody answered. Mom tried a different angle. It hurt your father when you didn't call after he fell. I looked at Dad. Did it hurt you? Dad shrugged. Would have been nice to hear from you. Would have been nice to be included, I said. Mom sighed like I was being difficult on purpose. You're always so negative. No, I said. I'm realistic. Big difference. That's when Blake leaned forward like he was the spokesperson. Look, Eunice, we get that you feel left out sometimes, but you could make more of an effort too, you know. I stared at him. More effort than driving 3 hours for Serena's birthday last year just to be asked to take the family photos? Or fixing your laptop at 11 p.m. because you clicked on every scam email possible? Or babysitting Mia and Leia for free so you could go to that concert? Serena muttered. That was one time. 3 times, I said, and you never even said thank you. Daphne finally spoke up. You always bring up the past. Maybe let things go. I laughed again. The past? This was last week. You called me during your meltdown because you needed help. You didn't even ask how I was before listing your problems. Mom snapped. Families help each other, Eunice. Yeah, I said. Funny how that only goes one way with you people. I stood up. Here's the thing. I'm done chasing after invitations that never come. Done being the backup plan when things break or somebody needs a cat sitter. You made it pretty clear where I rank, so now I'm making it clear. I'm not playing along anymore. Blake frowned. So what? You're just cutting everyone off? Not cutting, I said. I'm setting boundaries. Big difference. Mom tried the guilt trip next. After all we've done for you. I held up a hand. Stop. What you've done for me is remind me since childhood that I was an accident. That I wasn't planned. That Blake was the golden child. Serena was the star. Daphne was the free spirit. And I was the accident kid. You don't get to play the loving parent card now. She went red. You're being dramatic. No, I said. I'm being honest. Something this family avoids like the plague. Serena crossed her arms. So you think you're better than us now? I shook my head. No, I think I finally like myself enough not to sit at the kid table as I turn 30 soon. Blake muttered something about me overreacting. I turned to him. You called me during Christmas to fix your Wi-Fi from 200 miles away. I was eating pie while you were freezing in the dark. Maybe think about that before lecturing me. Dad finally spoke. So what now? Now, I said, I'm taking a step back. You want to have a relationship that isn't built on guilt trips or tech support calls? Great. I'm open to that. But I'm done forcing my way into a family that treats me like an afterthought until the pipes burst. Nobody said anything. By the time I left, the group chat was already buzzing with side conversations. Serena sent a long text about how I was being unfair. Blake sent one about family unity. Daphne sent a prayer hands emoji. I muted the chat for a week. Here's the satisfying part, though. A month later, Serena's perfect husband lost his job when his company downsized. Blake's big promotion got delayed because the Vermont trip made him miss an important meeting. Daphne's boyfriend dumped her because, in his words, she was too much drama. Meanwhile, I was eating ribs at James' parents' house, helping Evan build that Lego castle, and actually enjoying holidays for the first time in my life. Mom called once more before Easter. Are you coming to family dinner? Already got plans, I said. She sighed. With them? With people who act like family, I said and hung up. Easter at James' parents was louder than Christmas. More food, more games, more laughing, no guilt trips, no drama. Just people who wanted me there because they liked me, not because they needed something. And sitting there watching James' dad burn the first batch of ribs while everyone made fun of him, I realized something. I didn't lose a family. I finally found one.